Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks' best country, 105.1 The Bull.
Hi, this is Joy Robertson. As many of you know, I love food. I love finding new restaurants. I love trying new dishes. And most of all, I love talking to the many great restaurateurs and entrepreneurs we have here in the Ozarks and beyond. I love hearing their stories, and that's what this podcast is all about, learning more about them and their journey. So join me as we savor the Ozarks. This episode is brought to you by Jim's Steakhouse and Pub, Kitchenland USA, and Springfield's locally owned Fazoli's. I'm outside on the patio at the cutest little place you ever saw on South Campbell. I am at El Cafecito with one of the owners. This is Shanie Valdez, and she and her husband Cristhian own this cutest vibe this place has. And I have so much to talk to you about, Shanie. We've been standing here talking for 10 minutes before we started this podcast. First of all, are you from around here?
Yes, I was born and raised in Bolivar.
In Bolivar, Missouri. Okay. I want to learn how you got into the restaurant business, and I understand from your website you are bilingual. You're Spanish speaking also. How did you get into that?
I started by working at some Mexican restaurants locally and picked up through the cooks there, started asking questions, started dating Hispanic, and just started learning from them.
I assume that's how you met your husband?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I kind of figured, I put the pieces together that maybe that's how you wound up getting together, and maybe that's how you learned the language. So grew up in Bolivar, started working in Mexican restaurants. Were you looking for a job as a young person, or did you just love Mexican food and think, I'd really like to work at this place and learn about the food?
Well, actually, I started going to cosmetology school over on East Sunshine when they used to have the cosmetology school there, and I applied for a serving position at the Mexican restaurant that was next door, just getting ready to open, and they hired me, and that's where it all started.
Is that where you met your husband, at that job?
Yep, that's exactly where I met him.
You're kidding. How did that all come about? How long did you work together?
Well, he worked at a different restaurant that the same people owned, the ones that owned the restaurant that I worked at as well. And he would just come over and visit and eat at the bar and just watch me, and finally worked up the nerve to ask me on a date, except for at that time he didn't speak any English and I didn't speak any Spanish, so we were Google translating all of our dates, but it ended up working.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. It really is. So you at the time were not bilingual yet, but by nature and the course of the relationship, you both had to learn a lot.
Yep, so he learned English and I learned Spanish, and yep, it worked.
How long have you been married?
We've only actually been married since 2019.
Oh, okay. It's been a bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, so now we've established the relationship. I just had to learn about that. El Cafecito, it looks to me like maybe, and I'm guessing, Shanie, but maybe you enjoyed your job. You thoroughly enjoyed the relationship as well. You enjoyed the culture. Did you see yourself at the time maybe thinking, I'd like to have my own place?
Back then I really didn't see that. I didn't really know what God had planned in my life, but little by little over time he planted seeds, and once I actually did finally open this location, it was very clear to me that it was the plan that God had for us. And it little by little, even now 3.5 years later after being open, I recognize things that happened in my past that had led up to this opportunity of owning a coffee shop, just seeds that God had planted in my life to make this happen.
Well, the good Lord works in mysterious ways, and you can kind of go back and sort of connect the dots a little bit and think, maybe I was led here for a reason. It's just the sweetest place And it's this sort of mixture of cultures. But there are dishes in there that I am not familiar with yet. I got a lot of eating to do here at some point for sure. Did you know you wanted a coffee shop? Are you a coffee person?
Yes, definitely a big coffee person. I never had any experience in coffee, but as far as like working as a barista, but I've always, when we travel, we would go to different coffee shops. That was like our number one thing to do, is explore different coffee shops. And so my love of coffee was always there. So really, it was the food that we had experience in and the restaurant management that we had the experience in. Coffee, we just learned along the way, and God led the way.
So the coffee drinks you do here are fabulous. They're beautiful. They're very creative. But it's some of the baked goods and the breakfast and the lunch and the brunch items where you really see that sort of Spanish culture come shining through for sure. Had you had much experience with that kind of food outside of the Mexican restaurant before, or did your husband introduce you to all these wonderful little delicacies?
Well, of course, it was all, credit to him for introducing me to these things. But, ever since I was 18 years old, I've been traveling back and forth from Mexico. And, I'm not just talking about like the touristy areas, Cancun and Puerto Vallarta. Like, he's from Guadalajara. And so we would go, right into the center of Guadalajara. And I would stay for weeks, sometimes months at a time, and just really immerse myself in the culture and try different places. His family would cook for us different authentic things, and those things just kind of like stuck in my memory, and they were just so different to me. And with that comes the, like you said, like the culture of the people and the way that they live and the lifestyle that they live, and everything's just so peaceful and just different there. And so I think that it stuck with me, and these type of foods bring back those memories for me, and that peace and the love that they share there, and just the culture is exactly what it, the memory that it brings back for me. And so that's where a lot of like the food dishes and the drinks, the different candies that we put in the drinks, the things that I tried while I was there, and I was like, why can't we put this in a drink, or why can't we serve something like as the authentic as we can here in Missouri? So that's where that came from.
So your travels to Mexico, did they begin after you met Cristhian?
Yes. Yep. As soon as I started dating him, actually, I went and got my passport and traveled to Mexico within the first year, I think it was. Yeah.
Did you ever study Spanish officially, or did you just hang out with him and his family and kind of learn it on your own?
Yeah, just hanging out with his family and him and learning on my own, nothing official.
Was it difficult?
At times, yeah, but to be honest, like I tell a lot of people that are trying to learn Spanish, just like have confidence and practice. Like the confidence is key for sure, because that's what leads you to actually practicing with people and asking questions and pronouncing the words. And also, I actually truly believe that it was a God-given gift for me, and so that's why it also came very naturally. And it might not be a God-given gift for anybody, for everybody. So that might be why it would be more challenging for other people. But for me, that's just how I see it. That just God gave me the gift to speak in Spanish, because He has, different. Like for example, there's so many. I actually require people to speak English and Spanish if they work here, because I have a lot of clientele that only speak Spanish, and they've told me that they come in here because they feel comfortable, that they know that, somebody's going to speak their language. And so, that's also another thing for me.
When you're responsible for feeding a group, you want it to be simple. And, of course, you want everyone to love it. Zoli's Catering makes it easy with baked pastas, pizza, fresh salad, and our famous signature garlic breadsticks. It's a great fit for any size office lunch, meeting, family gathering, team meal, or any occasion. Find the menu and order online at fazoli's.com.
Fast, fresh, Italian, Fazoli's.
Have you heard the news? Kitchenland USA in Nixa has expanded with a new 2,000 square foot addition. Now they're fully dedicated to your kitchen and bath projects from start to finish, and it's all under one roof. Stop by the new showroom to see and touch the newest sinks, tubs, walk-in showers, faucets, lighting displays, tile and flooring, all in one showroom.
Kitchenland USA, newly expanded kitchen and bath showroom in Nixa, where your vision is our mission.
Some people check the weather, others check our soup of the day. Hi, this is Jim with Jim's Steakhouse and Pub. Our soup of the day changes, but the comfort never does. Just check with your server, because nothing takes the edge off a cold day like whatever's simmering at Jim's.
When you walk through those legendary doors, you're gonna find there's so much to love. So do yourself a favor, dig that service and flavor. Jim's Steakhouse and Pub.
Oh, I just love that. Well, I notice you and I are sitting out on the patio, and Christian is not sitting out on the patio because he's in the kitchen. Is that where he spends most of his time?
Yes, he's in the kitchen most of the time. Well, he helps in the front too. He's getting more and more into the barista.
Really?
Yes, he likes being a barista too. He likes being in the front because he's just like me. He loves interaction with people. He loves loving on people and building relationships with people. He's a lot like me in that aspect.
Well, I think I spotted him back there maybe, but when I came walking in, right now, at the time of this recording, it's a Friday afternoon. It's, I walked in the door around 1:30, I guess, 1:15, something like that. I'm going to tell you what, there's a ton of people in here. And what time do you have to get here in the morning? I mean, bakeries and coffee shops, notoriously, you have to be here pretty early, but what time do you guys crack it open?
We open at 6, but our staff gets here at about 5:30. Mm-hmm.
Do you do bake? Yeah, I'm sure you bake pretty much everything here. Do you start the day before?
On the baking side of things, actually this morning I laid out everything to rise to bake, and so we bake pretty much every day. I have a specific baker here as well, and so we're pretty much baking fresh bread every day.
I'll bet you when you guys were dating and you met Christian's family, the food was unbelievable, and that probably helped encourage you and think, we could do this. And I take it he was always happy and comfortable in the kitchen?
Yeah, the food, obviously, incredible. Love it. My favorite food. And he also, with him, he has grown a lot here with having his own restaurant, of course, and experimenting in the kitchen. But, since the beginning, it's always been a piece of him. So he's always been in the kitchen and always loved it.
All right. I want to talk food. When you opened, I'm sure your menu has evolved over time, and maybe you do specials and different things like that. But when you opened, what did you picture people were going to come in for? I mean, gorgeous coffee drinks for sure. But I'm seeing things like breakfast, burritos, quesadillas, all sorts of things. Talk about your menu. What are some of the favorites?
I would say the favorite food-wise is, of course, our breakfast burritos, the Chicha Loco breakfast burrito, which is actually named after Christian. He was called Chicha as a kid, and sometimes Chicha Loco by his mom, and so that was just a funny idea that took a big hit, and that's everybody's favorite. Best 417 breakfast burrito.
Describe it to me. What's all in there?
It has chorizo, bacon, eggs, potatoes, beans, and then a homemade chimichurri. It's a chipotle sour cream.
That sounds amazing. And you had me at chorizo. I'll wrestle people to the ground for chorizo. It's just so good. It's absolutely so good. You had to have had a good time coming up with the menu together.
Yes, it was. It was, we have such a small kitchen that it had to be so limited on the menu. So we
Limited? This is not limited in any way if you read your menu.
Yeah, we've definitely grown though. If you look at our first menu, it was very limited on items. Very, yes, because we wanted to start small anyways, just so we didn't overdo it, and then we just had to find ways. Our kitchen never expanded, so we had to find ways to add to the menu and organize the kitchen to where it all fits. And sometimes it still doesn't fit, but we make it happen, and sometimes we run out of things, and it's okay because we have other things. But yeah, over time we've just slowly grown the menu and added to it.
Well, that was kind of my original question that took me forever to ask, is how did your menu evolve? Because typically you start with a menu and then you say, let's try A, B, C, and D and see if all or some of them, last and get a following. So the breakfast burrito for sure. I love a good quesadilla. What are some of the other, talk about the pastries. There's, I know you do your own churros, correct? You always been a fan of churros?
Yes, love churros. Mm-hmm.
They're so good. They're so good. Okay, there's something called conchas or conchas? Conchas.
It's a Mexican sweetbread, and we make those in-house.
Well, that was something I had to look up the pronunciation for. And on one I saw concha, and one I saw concha.
Concha, it's like a shell. It's a shell. Gotcha. Concha means shell.
Exactly. So tell me about that. It's sweet, and you have some that are filled, correct? Tell me about your flavors.
So we've got Oreo, Nutella, cookie butter, and then just our plain vanilla conchas. Seasonally, we do different flavors as well. We'll try to come up with different things. They're a lot of fun, and I know that Jamila, our baker, she loves coming up with new recipes for them and stuff too, especially when we do seasonal menus.
Jamila, the baker. Was it tough to find a good baker?
Actually, no. I've been very blessed with employees and very blessed with just high qualified people coming in here working. She hasn't been my first baker. I had a baker before, actually, and she went and opened up her own micro bakery after she worked here, so she was able to grow and get used to living here and stabilize herself in order to be able to open up her own little micro bakery. It's called The Bread Stop. It's here in Springfield also.
Wow, so if you don't find her baked goods here, you can find them at her micro bakery. She has I would think she has a Facebook page, Instagram?
Mm-hmm. I think she does a lot on TikTok too.
Of course. So I take it Christian, does he do, I want to say kind of a short order? Like, in other words, he'll do more of a cook-to-order breakfast and lunch? Like, meaning like a burrito or quesadillas or something. He's not the baker, she's the baker, right? Oh, or does he do a little of both?
No, the baker is strictly just our breads.
Gotcha.
That's yep. So she's strictly just our breads, and then Christian I would call like the cook or the chef, or and then we've got other cooks as well. But Christian pretty much holds down the fort in the kitchen on top of the sauces and the meats and the recipes and stuff like that, and making sure everything stays good and consistent.
And you do all of these sauces and all of these breads right here in-house?
Yep, nothing store-bought. Everything's right here in-house.
That has to make you so proud. I mean, I know it makes customers feel good about what they're having. You do your homemade chips as well, is that correct?
Yep, we do homemade chips. We do, like I said, all the sauces, the breads, everything's homemade.
I think you have a bigger kitchen than you're letting on. If you do all this is crazy. You do tortillas too?
The tortillas are not homemade by us, but they are homemade by the company that one of our food suppliers that's from out of state.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, my goodness, there is only so much room and so much time in the day for sure. I'm seeing pancakes on your menu. I'm seeing tortas, traditional Mexican breakfast like a chilaquiles, different things like that. Tell me about like someone who comes here that maybe they're not all that familiar with these items that they see on the menu. And a torta is essentially just a sandwich, right? Talk about some of the things you have that may not be full on like Mexican or Spanish, but for the average person who comes in and just wants a good sandwich?
As far as like a good sandwich, I mean, they're all very authentic, to be honest with you, and very like traditional. But, the names obviously don't sound familiar to people. So they might say, oh, what is that? But like the torta de milanesa, it's just a big chicken sandwich. It's a really good big chicken sandwich, but that's, pretty basic if you're just wanting something pretty basic, not ready to try something new. But I would say if you come, try something new because you won't regret it. I've never had anyone not like what they've ordered, and if they do say that they don't like it, or if anybody comes and they don't like something, I'm more than happy to get them something that they do enjoy so that they leave with a good meal.
I've had people that I know well, but not well enough to realize they're not what they consider to be an adventurous eater. And there are sometimes I'll say, oh, let's go here or let's go there. And based on the name of the place, they'll go, I'm not a very adventurous eater. I just don't know. And I'm thinking, oh, you're a chicken fingers person or whatever. And no shame against chicken fingers. They're fabulous. But you don't need to be an adventurous eater to come to El Cafecito. Clearly, you're gonna find something you're familiar with and that you love, but you're gonna find something new.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And I think everybody should try it.
Oh my goodness, I do too. Are you busier during your breakfast, like breakfast brunch hours or lunch, or is it about the same? Does it vary?
I would honestly say it's about the same all throughout the day from open to close. We're very unique and one of a kind here in Springfield, and so we just stay pretty consistent.
I'm really eager to work my way through your menu for sure, and I was looking through your social media, which, by the way, is very entertaining. It's fun to look at. It's very colorful and very pretty, very Mexican. Everything just looks so good. But I learned something about you that I didn't know. You're training for something called High Rocks. And I had to go to the Google again to figure out what is High Rocks. I was like, what? What do you mean you're training for what? So you guys are pretty active. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But what is High Rocks? What are you training for?
I would explain High Rocks like a kind of like a CrossFit, between CrossFit with a little bit more cardio. Like you said, we just really enjoy fitness and staying in shape. And we started a run club, and within a High Rocks is quite a bit of running as well. And so I just found that what I enjoyed most was, the hybrid style workout, which was, you're running and then your High Rock style workouts, because I'm not a very heavy weightlifter. So it's just where I felt most comfortable, consistent, and yeah.
So High Rocks is a little bit of both. It's power, but it's also a lot of cardio. Yeah. So you're training for this. So does that indicates to me that you're going somewhere? Like, is there a competition, a tournament, or do you travel around and do these? You've done them before?
I've never did a High Rock.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, so you're training for your first?
Yes, I am training for my first, and I think I'm going for Mexico City in towards Dia de los Muertos, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Day of the Dead.
Yep, exactly.
That's all the Spanish I know, other than maybe enchilada and margarita. So really, well, congrats on that. I mean, you'll be fine. You're a runner too, right?
Yeah. Yep. We have a run club here at Cafecito, and so for the past year, I've been pretty high on running and training for that as well. We've did some half marathons, a lot of 5Ks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have the run club that's more or less based out of El Cafecito, the restaurant. When you opened, I take it that wasn't, for lack of a better term, on the menu. That wasn't necessarily something that you had planned. How did a run club evolve out of a restaurant?
Well, last summer we started it. We wanted to do like a cafe club style party out here on the patio where we had a DJ and everybody just drinking coffee in the morning, because we wanted to bring something to the area that's not just going out and partying and drinking alcohol at night. And so, which, like, I'm not saying anything wrong with that. I just know that sometimes there's a group of us that enjoy going to bed at 8 o'clock and, you know, doing our thing in the morning. So we decided to host an event one day and had a DJ out here. And then we ran across something on social media in California, and it was like the Run Club, Run Cafe Party. And so we were like, you know what, my husband enjoys running, always has. I did somewhat. And I was like, let's just try to get a group together to run that morning too. And so I came up with a cute little marketing flyer and a cute little logo, and just quickly didn't think it would go anywhere. And quite a few people showed up. It was a pretty big hit, and then just like over time we just had more and more people showing up, and then I didn't do social media on it for the longest time, and finally I was like, you know what, this could be another like it's just really, it's like the connections that we make with everybody. And like I told you from the beginning, like me and Christian are both very much alike in that aspect, where we love building relationships and just growing with people. And that's how we've got where we are today, is through that. And like, I feel like that's also why like we're here on this earth, is to like love on people and build relationships with people. And so that's exactly what we've did. And it's got us exactly where we are now with the Run Club. And, you know, we've built a huge community out of it, and several people, you know, and not just, it's by following that aspect of it, of building the relationships and loving people, is brought more opportunity to us within our business without being intentionally on that.
I just love that. So now, am I right that Run Club meets tomorrow? Like, is it every Saturday?
Yeah, it's every Saturday and every Thursday. We post a schedule. We have Strava, we have a GroupMe, we have Facebook, Instagram. We post a monthly calendar, and we'll post weekly updates. 90% of the time we do meet here at El Cafecito. There will be special races that we all do together, or just special events that we do together. And those, instead of being at Cafecito that day, it would be at that location. And so I know Fleet Feet hosts a lot of events that we join them on. There's a lot of other little run clubs locally that we join together and do things with. And so it's just a lot of fun. It's a good community, good fitness.
I just love that. If you meet here, like for example on a Saturday, what does it look like? I mean, do you meet here, have a cup of coffee, and then you just take off running from here?
So nobody drinks coffee before a run.
Oh no, I would have to. But anyway, okay, so no one has coffee before, they have it to look forward to after?
Yes, exactly. So we'll meet here, do a little stretch, and then go on our run. And trust me, I usually am the person who's like, I've got to have coffee before I go run. Like, as soon as my eyes are awake, I'm like, I need my coffee now.
Totally.
However, my heart rate can't handle it when I'm trying to run, and it's like skyrocketed while I'm trying to run. So we all meet here, mingle for a little bit while we stretch, and then we'll go on. We usually set the time to about 45 to 50 minutes. We never set distance because everybody's pace is different. And so we'll do 45 to 50 minutes, meet back here. You're welcome to hang out. Usually I do like smoothies for everybody. You can order coffee. Sometimes we even do like different events where we'll like, one time we did where we ran and then we climbed at the climbing gym, Zenith Climbing Gym, and Cafecito hosted that for everybody. So it's just sometimes we do different events, but it's always a good time.
That's just so interesting. Really is. And I could tell, you know, you mentioned, first of all, I think cooking for people is showing love to people. You know, it really is. And when you look at like I said, the photos on your social, the dishes are just, it just looks like home. It looks like comfort food. It looks like just something that you want to indulge in, you know, and the drinks are beautiful and the colors are pretty and the decorations and seasonal. And it just sounds like you've really built some amazing relationships since you've been here, whether you're running or just dining.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's been for us. And like, that's how we've grown so much, is by giving that vibe through the comfortness and the food that everybody loves. And like, the biggest thing is just taking care of your community and your customers, and, you know, always putting your customers first, and giving back, big time giving back. That's what's helped us a ton.
Speaking of community, I was at the National Restaurant Show in Chicago back in May, and I ran into Sherry and Renee from The Table. And I talked to them for a few minutes about what are you at the show for? What are you looking for? And, they just opened their restaurant. And they said, we've never been. And they said, well, who else have you talked to on the podcast? Or who are you going to talk to? And I said, oh, gosh, you got any suggestions? And they said, El Cafecito. They love this place. And I actually saw that either you tagged them or they tagged you in a social media post that's on your Facebook page. So that has to feel really good.
Yeah, it definitely does. And like right back to the whole relationship thing, that's exactly where that come from. They're super sweet. We're not even that close. But it's just that they love it here. They came in here, they felt that closeness and they felt that love that we share with people. And that's exactly what I mean by it can help you in more ways than you can imagine. And just by that simple fact that they remembered us because of how we treated them when they came in. And I see that they're those type of people as well in their business. And that's why their business does so well.
Well, it's so nice to get to know other people in the business and support each other for sure. And I always like to ask people when I chat with them, where do you like to eat when you're not at your own place?
Actually, I am not big on eating out anymore. I think a lot of restaurant owners can probably say the same thing. Christian is a great cook, so if I can get him to come home and still cook, I would much prefer that, like a good home cooked meal. However, I do love Fuji's Japanese. That's one of my favorite restaurants, as well as, where else do we go a lot?
You think about it for a second. I do put people on the spot with this question. And I never tell them and I don't always ask it. I don't always, if the conversation doesn't lead there, I don't go there. But I always want to know if people have a hole-in-the-wall place they love to go, or if they like to take a road trip somewhere to get a giant burger, or it's just something that, did you think of anything else? You'll think of 20 when I leave here.
I know, right? Yeah. No, honestly, we kind of hop around a little bit and like to try different places and support, as local as we can. Also, we really try to support locally. The Teriyaki House over on Glenstone, they're very good and very locally owned. Great business owners. We love them.
So you like Asian flavors, I can tell.
Yeah, I do. And theirs is actually a fusion between Mexican and Asian. Because I think the owners of they are Hispanic, so it's a fusion of it.
So on a Friday night, you get home or it's late, you just finished watching a movie and you say, Christian, I need a snack, let's make something. What's your go-to? Is there a go-to?
I mean, snacks are called botanas, and so we just say we want a botana, and he'll make us a botana. Me and my girls is who I'm referring to, and it's literally just different chips with lime and hot sauce. Sometimes they put salchicha, which is like hot dog, cacahuates, like peanuts, and what else does he put on it? It's just different things. Those are the main ingredients, though.
So it's a little bit like a nachos, it sounds like, kind of?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of. There's so much I have to learn here, so much I have to learn. You mentioned your girls. You're talking about kids. Tell me about them.
I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. 2 girls, yep. Big girls.
9 and 5 years old, which is pretty young. And you're young parents with young kids and a restaurant. Yep. That's a juggling act. What?
I was going to say, hence why we wanted a coffee shop, because we close at 4 and we can be with our girls. That was another big thing, is that I always, in the restaurant industry before, when we were working for other people, we were always working late, 9, 10 o'clock on the weekends, every Sunday. And it just got exhausting, especially once we did have our kids, or the first our first daughter. And so I was like, you know what, that was just part of it. That was part of the reason why we wanted this specific type of business.
Is it tough, though, in the morning getting ready for school when you have to be here so early?
Well, I don't have to be here early every day. I have staff now.
Gotcha, of course. So you can take care of the kids, get them off to school, and what have you. Do you think they'll follow in your footsteps, the girls?
Oh, girl, I don't know. Their personalities between each other are so different. And then, I just don't know. I mean, you never know. I'm going to be happy with whatever it is that they choose to do. I just have to do my job to teach them the love of Jesus, and hopefully they fall in the right steps.
That's just beautiful. Just beautiful. You know, and you're an interesting person. You met your husband, and you worked hard as a young person, and you've said that you've studied this and you've studied that. And before I started recording this, I learned that you're also a realtor. So you and I can relate on that front for sure. Tell me, just touch on your experiences in real estate.
Well, that was I feel like that was part of the process to get where I am today with the coffee shop, as crazy as it seems. I got out, I was serving in the restaurants, and I started doing some property management for a company here in town. And I didn't have my real estate license at the time, but I was doing property management, and they had me show a property to sell it, a commercial property. And I did it, and we sold it, and it was great. And I didn't see any of the commission from it because I didn't have my license, even though I was doing all the work for it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get my real estate license. So that's what I did. And one thing led to the other. I did really well in the beginning, and that's probably where I learned the value of building relationships with people, because if you want to be a successful real estate agent, you have to build relationships with everybody that you know and nurture that relationship and in order to grow in real estate. A lot of people just want to get their license and feel like everything's just going to come to them, but it's not. It's hard work for sure. It's hard work, but it's also like very rewarding because of all the people that you meet along the way. And so that's what I mean by where I am today with Cafecito. The people that I met along the way led me to this location. You know, I started doing commercial real estate, and I started showing people restaurant spaces, and I fell upon this one, and that's around that time is when real estate started to slow down. And so I was like, why don't we try to do something on our own? And without even knowing that those seeds had already been planted in me, and I was just working up to it. And so, one thing led to the other, and I ended up getting a lease on this building on my own, and then starting the business.
Well, you know a good location when you see one. And you can tell by the noise around us, there's a lot of traffic on South Campbell, for sure. So it's worked out really well for you. Getting back to your menu real quick, I want to know, what is it like around here seasonally? Do you just have so much fun when Christmas time rolls around, holiday time rolls around, Easter, 4th of July? You just strike me as the kind of person who would just be over the top creative and I've seen that you do flights. So you'll do like a latte flight. I've seen you do a pancake flight. Yeah. But seasonally, do you just live for that?
I actually really do. I really enjoy creating seasonal menus. We try to do different food specials and stuff. It's not always possible just because of the limited amount of space that we do have. But as far as like drink menu and then like the sweetbread seasonal stuff, I do really enjoy creating those different things. And a lot of what helps with that is my continuing to travel to Mexico and learning different new things, different new flavors, and just like authentic different things. As a matter of fact, I just got back from Mexico on Tuesday and already learned a couple new things that I'm like, dang, that is super like authentic, that like nobody does here, because you lose, after living here for so long, a lot of them lose their culture. Not really lose their culture, but like, they forget like it's pretty natural that they would forget different things. And so it's just really interesting for me to like travel and really continue to submerge myself there and like learn these different authentic things.
How often do you get to Mexico? And where do you go? Do you go to home to see family then?
Yeah, I get to go, well, we've been open here for 3 years. And so the first year I did travel quite a bit. And then the last couple years we've just spent here growing as much as we possibly can. And so I haven't had a lot of time for travel. Usually before that I was going 2-3 times a year. And I went, like I said, I just got back and I plan on going again probably the end of August. So, yeah.
That sounds like so much fun. When I was at the restaurant show a couple of years ago in Chicago, I got to sit and chat with Chef Rick Bayless from Chicago, and he's got just some amazing restaurants there, and he grew up traveling there and going there and got a love for the culture. Do you have any chefs like him or other celebrity chefs that you watch and you watch what they do with their flavors and their menus and sort of get inspiration?
I would say that would be Christian, not me. I am not. I mean, obviously, I'll see videos of food pop up and be like, hey, let's make this or let's try this. And food when I go as well. But my side of things is more the coffee, I would say. The more coffee and the sweetbreads. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good stuff.
He has people that he follows and likes to watch, yeah.
Well, it's always fun to see just different cultures and, like you said, different flavors. Can you give us a hint of maybe a flavor you picked up in Mexico this last trip that you were like, what can I do with this one? Is there any hint you can give me?
Well, I would say the main thing this time that I picked up is, it's actually crazy because, I'm sure you've heard of like the Charro. The restaurant, like El Charro?
Yes.
Okay, Charro in general is an actual word for the guy that they have on their sign with the sombrero. That's a charro. And so nobody ever says or does this around here, but there's the Adelita, and it's the opposite of a charro. It's like the woman. Okay. And so I think, it's called the Adelita. And I learned that, and it's crazy because it's like the girl version of the charro, and coincidentally enough, our logo is kind of like the girl version of the charro, and that's exactly what made me pick this logo. Is that like I said, I grew up the restaurant industry that we were in, I should say, me and my husband, was like the charro. That was their logo and their name and everything. And so I was like, why don't we do the girl version of that? Nobody does that. And then just recently when I went to Mexico, I learned that that's an actual thing, but nobody does that around here. So I might add a special drink with that name, the Adelita.
I love it. I love it. Well, El Cafecito means the little coffee shop. And this little coffee shop has grown into quite the sensation here in the 417 for sure. Have you considered, I've heard a little bit of buzz that maybe you'd considered a second location. You've got a lot going on. You've got a great restaurant right here. You've got young children. Would you ever consider another one or expanding in some way?
Yeah, so you're right. We do got a lot going on, and we're really just waiting for God to, open the opportunity for us to open a second location. And I really thought that we did have one picked out here in Springfield. I really truly believed that that's what we were supposed to be doing. And then one day it was just no, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And we just completely shut the doors down. And which is totally fine. I truly believe that listening to that voice and listening to God will get you where you need to be. And so, I am not opposed to opening a second location whatsoever. I just really think that I think my heart is in Mexico. And so I think that might be our next location.
Wow, really? Opening one there? Maybe around, you said Guadalajara?
Guadalajara, yes. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm guessing some of our friends from our sister city of Tlaquepaque maybe have visited here when they have been here to perform and what have you. Wonderful people down there. I've done the trip down there and it's fabulous. Wouldn't it be something? Do what?
I said I just got back from Mexico, but Guadalajara is 25 minutes from Tlaquepaque, so I went and visited Tlaquepaque as well. We actually have a barista here who comes seasonally, and she lives there, but she goes to school here, and she works here seasonally, and she's from Tlaquepaque. Her parents own a boutique hotel there, and so, yeah, I just, like, this recent time that I went, I just felt, like, such peace there, and, like, I just love it, and obviously we would still have El Cafecito here. This isn't going anywhere. This is going to be a staple, like Mexican villa. It's going to be here forever. Right. And but yeah, we might think about doing something in Mexico one day.
Okay, you mentioned the boutique hotel. Oh my goodness, what's it called? The Casa Don, what is it? Is it that one?
No, it's the there's quite a few.
Because there's the one that they put you up, and I can't for the life of me, I'm on the spot now, I put myself on the spot. The hotel that they put us up in Tlaquepaque.
Oh, yeah. No, hers is the Quinta Don Jose.
That's it?
Is it that one? Oh, you know what? I think that they do work very closely with the Sister Cities.
Yes, that's the one. I've stayed there. Yep. Oh, my goodness.
Yep, so she works here, and her family owns that there. I think there's a restaurant that's connected to it as well. And, I don't know. Maybe my opportunity is in Tlaquepaque. Maybe it's in Guadalajara. And, the cool thing about it, I think, is that, like, maybe it will, it'll give also Americans who travel there a comforting place to go, just like here they have and maybe there I'll require English and Spanish speaking as well. And so then just like here, it gives people a comforting place to go. Maybe in Mexico I can do the same and then start a community there and bring the love of Jesus to Mexico.
Oh my gosh, you gave me chills just now saying that. Yes, that hotel, is it Tlaque Pasta? I believe is the name of the restaurant that's attached to the hotel, and Charlie the bartender? Yep. Oh my goodness. I need to say hello to her before I leave. We may have met before. My goodness. And of course, like I said, I put myself on the spot. I'm trying to remember names of hotels and people. And oh my God, one of the most special experiences of my life was visiting Tlaquepaque. And to think of El Cafecito. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you stayed and then the owner's daughter works here. Yep.
Oh, it just gets better and better. My goodness, I have enjoyed this conversation. Once again, let people know your address and when you're open.
2462 South Campbell, and we're open Monday through Friday 6 to 4, Saturday and Sunday 7 to 4.
So you're open 7 days?
7 days a week.
Are you nuts?
I'm not here 7 days a week.
I didn't realize you were open 7 days. I just didn't pay that close of attention. But my goodness, you have got a ton of injury. Shanie Valdez and your husband, Christian, who's in the kitchen. El Cafecito, I can't say enough about it. It's just fabulous. Thank you, Shanie, for spending time with me on Savor the Ozarks. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to know you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed getting to know you, too.
Be sure to go to AroundTheOzarks.com to sign up for our daily newsletter where you can get every episode of Savor the Ozarks, plus all our other podcasts, events, and contests straight to your inbox. And what are your favorite dishes in the 417? Do you have any restaurants you'd like me to visit? Email me at joy@AroundTheOzarks.com.